Kristy and I, we both have special needs kids. We have been through the process of building a new home a few times, and we found out that there are quite a few things that you have to think about as you're going through the process. And we thought that we would introduce you to a few tips so that while you are going through the process, you hopefully learn from our mistakes and from the things that we actually did right.
So for us, it was really important that I just first imagined being home with my daughter and what her current needs were and what her future needs might be. And that really started for me, finding the model that worked for our family needs. And then once we found the Vantage model that worked for us, we started at the driveway and, actually pulled up to the house. How do we feel? Got our daughter out of the car. Is there enough driveway to get her out? How comfortable we were? Steps? Do we need a ramp?
Thought of what could be a potential issue, or what are the things that you really wanted to have.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also brought my daughter. She is able to walk right now. Having her get out of the car and watch her walk around and actually help her up the stairs, we discovered that the stairs were just a little bit too high for her. Yeah. So we were able to allow for a lower step to be more comfortable, but also accommodated if she was going to need a wheelchair in the future, then the lower step would accommodate a ramp. Or possibly, just putting in concrete.
Yeah. So what we didn't mention before is, of course, not every model home that a builder has is the model that you are looking for. So just ask the home builder, well, do you have a model homes in some other subdivision that you could walk? Mm-hmm. Or maybe you have an almost finished or finished property that you could go through and do exactly that and assess the house and how it actually, accommodates the needs of our kids. Now, you had a special situation because you also had an elderly parent that also needed to be thought of. So yes, we're kind of packing a whole lot into this video. We have learned that builders are very willing to listen and help with your requests, of course, within reason. But let's start at the entrance and just follow through our thought processes as we continue this journey through this model home.
Great.
We are here at the entrance of the Branson model of Vantage Homes, and we're very grateful that they allowed us to do this here. And Kristy, what were your thoughts when you started walking through here?
So my thoughts were I would want to make sure that the front door was accommodating if my daughter was to, or my mom was to go in a wheelchair. Second is that it's so open and you're able to, kind of come in. We're in Colorado. We have jackets, gloves. She might be frazzled from getting out of the car and, coming in, but there's just lots of room to kind of sit down and then tend to her.
Put a bench there so she can sit down, put her shoes on, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I have the same thing with my daughter. She comes in, she wants to sit down, take her shoes off, and that way we keep all that mess right here.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I especially love how wide the doorways are in this model. And this is obviously just a model that we're touring. They seem to just have really wide hallways, which is really nice. So what also was important for us was to have a main floor bedroom and bathroom for my daughter to be able to accommodate. Again, making sure the doorway was wide enough. Also thinking about counter height, if the cupboards were going to be okay, if we were going to need wheelchair access, maybe an outlet for a bidet, walk-in shower versus tub. What is your need going to be? And also space. Does your child have to use a lift to help get them into the shower, or would that be a future need? For Susanna and I, that's probably not going to be a future need for our daughters, but also just something to think about. And I really like that the bedroom is right off of the bathroom. And, I want my daughter to be somewhere that's bright and happy. And look at these windows. They're gorgeous. And there is enough room in here to accommodate any equipment that she might need. And one thing that we did think about was, would she ever need oxygen, different voltage of plugs, any electrical needs? Where would you need those? And is there enough room, again, if you needed to have a lift to help you or to store a wheelchair? Also, do you want carpet or do you want the hardwood to flow through if your child or loved one is in a wheelchair?
So in a house where there are no special needs, this would be a formal dining room. Kristy made a different choice that I really thought was very interesting.
We turned our room like this into a playroom / therapy room. And it was nice because in our floor plan from Vantage, also the bedroom and the bathroom and this room were close together. So I really felt like my daughter felt like this was kind of her part of the house. And since my daughter is an adult, I think that was nice to give her a feeling of this is your space.
Yeah.
But the therapist liked it because they could keep binders and paperwork and, things that they needed for her therapies close to the restroom all together. And it was their space.
And yet easily accessible. Yeah. It was away from the house, and whether that's toys or it's, any kind of therapy equipment, that way, you don't have it all over the house. You have a separate room, which I think is really nice. It's dedicated. It's close to, the bedroom. I just think that gives a really comprehensive feel.
Yeah. And this is something that I didn't think about when we picked the model out. I didn't plan for this to be the playroom therapy room.
It just worked out.
But after we moved in, my daughter gravitated to that room. And I was like, that works. She taught me.
And of course, here in the kitchen as well, were a lot of things that we wanted to integrate into our family's lives. Our kids, our daughters would have a better opportunity to be integrated and do their chores because that's what they have to do, right?
Absolutely. So it made it really nice that Vantage was willing to come and do a walkthrough with Susanna, myself, and my daughter, which made it really nice because Susanna's not only just my realtor, but, special needs mom. So when I was missing a little something, she really had the understanding to help me. Well, what about this? This is what my daughter does. And then Vantage could say, this is something we could accommodate, or something, that's not going to work because of electrical, whatever. So it made it really nice. So the first thing that we would have looked at is we naturally had my daughter come over and touch where the microwave was. Over here versus over the stove. Is that going to be safe for her leaning over? So whatever your child's needs are. Also, we were able to look at cabinet height. My daughter's chore is to empty the dishwasher. That's something that she can do. And so she needs to be able to reach the bottom shelf of the cabinets. So we lowered the cabinets to accommodate for that.
That is a great idea. Builders are willing to do that. You just have to ask for it. Most builders are really willing to do this and help you with that. So just ask for it and you'll see what they say.
There was a few things that we were unable to do just because of electrical or pipes or something like that. But of course, that's understandable.
Yes.
So I was just really happy that they worked through that with us.
We really are the experts as parents. You really have to guide the builder as to what your needs are. Again, they will give you feedback about pipes and so on, what is possible, what isn't possible. If it's a structural issue, well, that might not work. Really, they depend on you to give them feedback.
Yeah. So we also talked about counter height, had my daughter do a few things in the model home just to see if she was comfortable with that. So then the other thing that was important was that she was able to have a pantry so that she could, in her therapy, fix her own breakfast or lunch. To be self-sufficient. That's what we want for our kids. We want them to be able to be functional adults, functional teenagers.
Absolutely.
Anything that anyone else's kids can do, our kids can do.
What we did in our house that we thought was really important is we actually have pull-out drawers. So these don't have the pull-outs. Do you have pull-outs as well?
We do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. it's just easier. I don't want my daughter starting to climb into the cabinet because she can't reach something. So the pull-out was really important too.
And then everything else doesn't come down when she's pulling out the one item that she does want. So
just wanted to mention one thing. So this is a stove top. We have in our house a regular slide-in stove. So if there's any issue with, you know, tipping of the stove or access here, you know, I mean, just like if you have little kids, right? You know, if the knobs are in the front or if they're reaching over. Just some thoughts. There are some tipping guards that you can attach to the back. So Kristy, you have done this construction cycle a couple times.
Yes.
What is the one big takeaway, the one big thing that you learned from the first house to the second house?
The biggest thing was our first house had a bedroom, bathroom situation like we showed you earlier. The biggest thing that I learned is we found in the Vantage model, it had 2 masters. That was amazing. Literally life-changing for us.
Like how?
Just, it was more accessible for her. That she wanted to be in her room. She wanted her space. More room in the bathroom.
Yes.
Bigger closet.
Yeah, because usually, I mean, even if it's a secondary master bathroom, you do have more space. Those bathrooms are made more spacious, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this bathroom.
So having a secondary master bathroom for her was really nice. She had her own vanity that had all of, you know, her stuff. She was just comfortable where she would put things. But then I also had a vanity that I could wash up and have things that I needed for her, gloves, and just had a sink that only I used. And I don't know why that was so nice, but it was. Also, having a larger walk-in shower was really nice when I needed to help her. You know, I'm not pushing a shower curtain and water going all over me. We all know what that's like to have to shower our kids in a regular shower. It's difficult. So that was really nice. And having room for maybe a chair when she needed to get dressed or she wasn't feeling well. Just have that space to accommodate things that we wouldn't think of that we would need until I had that space. I wouldn't have thought my daughter might like a chair in the bathroom. So asking your builder, do they include a shower head that will accommodate, either come with or accommodate a handheld shower head, could be really important. In one of our houses, we did come across, it just came with a standard shower head. And when we went to change it, the piping did not work. We had to return it, get a different one. So just addressing those issues would have been super helpful. Having the bench in the shower is super helpful. So in the closet, when we were able to have the second home that had a bigger closet for her, we had to ask for the shelving to be lowered, which Vantage definitely accommodated and just lowered that just a couple of inches. Really made a difference that my daughter wasn't on her tippy toes trying to reach the rod. Now we're seeing shelving units like this, which is exactly what we needed then. So this is just definitely beautiful and very accommodating for, you know, anything that she might need, supplies we don't want her to reach versus some supplies that she might want to reach. And then her having her personal effects here would be really nice. So one of the things that I actually passed on was having the builder put in this lighting. It's sleek. You can't even really see that it's there. And I said, no, we'll just get the lights that turn on automatically and put those in. But then I always had to charge them. And she didn't like the fact that it wasn't on continuously, that it was motion censored. So she didn't like that. And it's just nice to have on all the time because then, you know, if she was out walking, she could have some light to see, oh, the stairs are there. Don't go there. So that was really important.
We're in the basement and Kristy has an awesome tip for the stairs.
If you are going to need a stair lift, you may want to think about, does the home have a staircase like this, or is it split? If the staircase is like this, I did find out that I could enclose this so that the stair lift could come all the way down and they could structurally have that ready for us.
So as pretty as this is,
absolutely,
it's just something, that you would have to fix after the fact if you ever needed a stair lift.
And have your person come and walk down the stairs. My daughter definitely does not like stairs like this. She is much more comfortable with a split staircase for some reason, but we live in their world.
With a landing, right?
Yeah, she's so much more comfortable. We live in their world, so
whatever.
Yeah,
and it worked out.
That's what we have in our house. However, was a consideration when we looked at lifts for my mom.